Hey everyone, it's Brian Shannon from AlphaTrends.net. I wanted to take a look at the markets and some stocks here for trading on Friday. We've got the jobs report tomorrow, and I just made a comment, excuse me, on Twitter saying that a lot of stocks are really kind of coiled up nicely and look like they could get going. We have a catalyst though, so it's going to be important, obviously, for the market to receive the job numbers well in the morning. But if it does, then I think that the Russell 2000, which has been a real, the strongest market, will begin to lead. And give some confidence to buyers of the S&P 500, get that maybe back above that 1320-ish area, and the Nasdaq 100 get that back above this 45.75. The Nasdaq closed is basically flat for the year. December 31st it closed at 45.74. So we've made a lot of progress here the last couple of weeks. Let's take a look at the individual stocks though, because that's where I think there's really some nice setups. Align Technology, ALGN, trades about a half a million shares a day. It's got a great looking weekly chart here on this daily time frame and intraday time frame. Let's take a look at a 65-minute time frame. You can see that it's just had some strength. It's kind of just holding on to those gains here on lighter volume the last couple of days, and maybe getting above the resistance of the last day and a half at 1890-ish areas where it could get going. I would use a stop maybe down near the 5-day moving average. Apple also has been real strong. It's holding on to its gains. Obviously, it's going to influence the market a lot what this stock does, but it's up near its highs and looks like it could be making a run for that 215 level. It's tough to say specifically where to buy it because it's so volatile, but other stocks that are looking good. This Astoria Financial has a great looking weekly chart. Looks like it could make it up towards 15-ish over the next maybe several weeks or so, but real nice consolidation above the 10, 20, and 50-day moving averages in here recently. Trades 850,000 shares a day, and looks like it needs to clear a little bit of resistance near about 56 cents, and then it gets up beyond. Then you'd be looking at these levels here, the about 1370 and 14. It gets through there, then you've got to look at that weekly chart to look for potential levels of resistance. AOL came public late last year. Let's just take a look at a daily. It trades 1.4 million shares a day. Now, since this company has come public, let's do this. The volume weighted average price since it came public has been right there where that line is, so at about $24.25. And you can see how that average price has actually been acting as support in here recently, which means since the IPO, the buyers have control. Below 24.25, they lose control. But it's been in a consolidation. It's not really going here, but it keeps banging away at this 25.5 level, keeps coming up and testing it with less time in between those tests. It shows the buyers are getting more aggressive, and this stock could get going. If it breaks out past some of these recent highs, it could make a nice run. I think it's interesting to point out today, not necessarily for a trade, but Goldman Sachs I think caught a lot of short sellers off guard. The stock broke down through the 160 level, that was support, and that 50-day moving average, and then it had that 50-day moving average cross through the 200-day moving average, which a lot of people say is a sell signal, which to me is foolish. Moving average crossovers represent indecision. The only thing that pays is price. So if you're going to be short Goldman, you have to wait for Goldman to be breaking down support. Well, I think a lot of people did sell it short, and that's why we had such a strong response there today. From that failed breakdown, from a failed move came a fast move as the shorts got caught off guard. Not really suggesting any type of trade in there, but just more of the psychology of this market is that it's holding up very well actually when a lot of people are not expecting it to. I've got a bunch of other stocks here I'm going to mention, so I'm going to go kind of quick, but this one is Clean Energy, trades 850,000 shares a day, broke some resistance last week. We were getting involved, and it's holding on real nicely. It gets through these January highs up near 19 and a half. Then you could see it take off, I think, for a couple points or so. Anyways, on the 10-minute time frame, it's had a little bit of resistance at that 19 level. Nice test of the rising 5-day moving average. So a worst case stop, I think, would go below that, the low of today, basically. Green Mountain Coffee Roasters just continues to destroy short sellers in there. Nice consolidation. If you like the higher price stocks, this is probably a good one to get involved in. If it gets, if it breaks below the lows of today, then move to the sidelines. But I think in here you'd like to see a little bit of pullback and then push up through this level that's experienced experienced some resistance near about 87.60 the last couple days. InfoSpace, I've been talking about this one for a while because it's got a great looking weekly chart, and you can see how that bigger resistance level here from 2009 was broken, and the stock found support in there. We've got a rising 10, 20, 30, 40 week moving average, and they reported big earnings over here. The revenues, I think, were up 92% or so. They were really big and better than expected. It's kind of been choppy, but now we're looking at this level very similar to what you see on the weekly time frame, that this resistance acted as support. Now on that daily time frame, we see a similar type of fractal where we've seen this resistance now acting as support. It got back above that little resistance on some big volume. Now it's consolidated and looking like the buyers are maybe going to take control. Similar to GMCR, I think maybe a little pullback that finds support along a rising 5-day moving average, then breaks 11 would be the ideal scenario. Always have a stop in place though below 10.5, then it's probably a failed move to the upside. I had mentioned on Twitter today KeyCorp, KEY. I got bored with it. It's not really my type of stock personality wise, but it's got a nicer looking weekly chart. You can see this resistance has acted as support after that big volume move early in the year and lower volume pullback. So if you're looking at the banks, and here's one that probably needs to clear maybe $7.20. Nice pattern of these higher lows in here the last few days above the rising 5-day moving average. So I'd say stop near 695. Quest is starting to look interesting to me as well. It's not ready yet, but maybe maybe it needs to get above. Let's just take a look at that on a 65-minute time frame. Maybe getting back above 465-ish. Quest looks good. You look at this weekly time frame, you can see that it breaks these levels, then you could see a pretty good pop up towards the low to mid fives, I think. Real Network has a nice looking weekly chart as well. The daily time frame holding on really nicely in here. So on strength, Real Networks looks good to me. As SHLD, this is Sears looks like it's above the rising 5, 10, 20. 50-day moving average. It found support at that 50, just above that 50-day moving average. We've got a lot of great looking stocks basically. SanDisk gapped out on earnings the other day. Nice tight consolidation on light volume. We had seen a similar type of move today with, what the heck was that one? Dollar Tree, DLTR. That consolidation led to a quick pop higher in Dollar Tree today. But keep an eye. I realize I'm mentioning a lot of stocks, but pick the ones that make sense for you and your personal outlook. That's what I do each day on alphatrends.net. And THQI is another one that looks decent. The weekly's kind of a little funky looking, I guess, but this one could get going higher as well. A couple ideas. If the market's weak, I think the shorts have been really difficult lately, and rightfully so, as we're in an uptrend. But you always want to have some go-to names just in case. I think this Enernoc, ENOC is the symbol, broke down over here on bigger volume, rallied up to find some resistance, and now looks like it's selling off again here on a shorter term time frame. So keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on this BG. It's probably not quite ready to go yet. It probably needs to break down below 59 or so, but the daily time frame is pretty ugly looking, and this could be a bigger top in here. So anyways, hopefully some of these ideas were useful to you. I find all my ideas these days on alphascanner.com. Go ahead and take a look at some of the free tools there as well.